ladies and gents from Valco Effects. Check it out. You heard these fine boxes on the song at the beginning of the video. It's the 5-0, which is a drive, tremolo, and reverb, all in one really cool looking box, and the KGB Fuzz. So let's start with the KGB Fuzz. This is a decidedly wild and vintage sounding affair. It's a lot of fun. You heard it on the lead guitars. I love how it looks like kind of like an old piece of studio equipment or something like that too. But anyway, it's designed to be used a couple different ways, and I just used it with my guitar in this video. But it's got capability where you can actually run it at line level and use it as kind of a sound creation device. I think, like, you know, if you've got keyboards or maybe you want to send out of a, you know, like a recording interface into it and insert it and, like, you know, run synths, like soft synthesizers or drums or something through it. You could actually do that with this box. There's a separate dry output, and then there's this really unique blend control that lets you mix the fuzz into the dry signal. So for a fuzz, it's very unique. Controls on it allow you to adjust the impedance as well as the line and guitar instrument level switch. There's a voicing control, as well as a fuzz amount, a level, and a tone control, and then the aforementioned blend slider. All right, so let's check this one out now. This is the 5-0. This is, once again, a drive circuit here, a tremolo circuit here, and then a reverb circuit over here. This thing sounds just great. On the clean guitar that started the song, and also on the one that ended the song, I had some tremolo and reverb going. And you saw me at the end of the song actually increasing the reverb size control to make it sound like the room was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, as well as bringing up the blend or mix control, so that it sounded like the guitar was going further and further and further away. With the tremolo, you get this control here that allows you to mix up the waveforms, try, like, you know, square wave or triangle or sine, different waveforms. And then the drive is pretty basic. You've basically got a tone control, an output level, and a drive amount control. So I'm going to play some more through these boxes, and I'm also going to solo some of the parts from the song at the beginning of the video outside of the mix. I was playing for some of the tones through my PT100 on the clean channel, and then I also used my old Marshall 50 watt actually with the fuzz for the solos. And with the tremolo, you get a few different waveform modes, so that's cool because you can get more of a sine wave or triangle or a bit more square, so let's listen to that. So you got all your different options in there to get the perfect waveform shape, or more subtle, or kind of a more staccato, stuttery, on-off kind of sound going, if whatever you want. Let's turn the rate and the depth controls too, and I'll just leave it on the sine wave setting. So let's check out the reverb now. So first thing I'll show you is this pre-switch. This allows you to pick if you want the reverb to come before or after the tremolo. If you put the reverb after the tremolo, it's going to sound a little more diffuse and washed out and wash out the sort of the pulses of the tremolo. Put it before the tremolo and the trem comes after, then the trem is tremoloing everything, and it sounds more defined. It's just easier if you hear it. Okay, so now I'll turn off the tremolo and let's play with the size and the tone and the blend knobs. Alrighty, so I just got the dirty Les Paul rhythm part in that track at the beginning of the video, and this is a perfect sort of tone to show off the drive side of the 5.0. So this is my sound. I'm just right into the PT100 into the clean channel. Right, and turning on the 5.0. Now, if you look at my settings, it might be a little tough to see there, but I've got the volume on about 930, so this pedal has a ton of output. You don't have to turn it up much past, you know, maybe 30% of the way up, and you're at unity gain. And that means you can also boost with it right into the front end of your amp if you want. And really kick the front end pretty good. Let's try turning down the drive control and actually see what it sounds like for maybe like a dirty boost, but with not much overdrive. And one thing you might notice when I turn down the drive control, it almost acts like an amp with a bright cap, where it actually brightens up a little bit and sort of thins out a little bit. So you can balance that with the tone control. They're very interactive on this pedal. Turn down the drive, you might want to also turn down the tone. Check it out. So you might notice it's pretty amp-like, kind of in the interactions of the tone controls and the output, and you know, really, if you adjust one control, you might want to adjust the other controls for that setting. But you'll find your tone in there. Some great tones to be had. And the one that I actually started at, now I've messed up the controls, but whatever I arrived at to cut the part on the Les Paul in the song that you heard when I started this little demonstration, it sounded just great for the part I was going for. So it's a really cool sounding drive circuit, and it's unique in its operation. Okay, so let's take a look at the KGB Fuzz. So to me, this fuzz sounds really good pushing an amp that's got a little bit of drive going already. So I'm running it in front of my 50-watt Marshall, and I got the channels jumpered, and the controls are around 5. So I think like how Jimmy Page would have used like a tone bender, or Hendrix would have used a fuzz face, that style of fuzz. Here's the tone without the pedal on. 50-watt Marshall, you know, turned up to 5. So let's turn on the pedal and see what we got right now. Pretty cool. It's very, you know, psychedelic sounding. This isn't going to do your, like, it's not metal or anything like that. There's a psychedelia thing that's always kind of present in the tone. And, you know, it's a straight up sort of 60s or early 70s kind of, you know, vintage affair to me. Now, let's take a look at some of the controls. So one of the most interesting things on here is this great big mix slider right here. It's called blend, actually. If I turn it all the way down, I'm just going to have just the amp, no effect. Let's turn it up. So I just brought it up a little bit, and you can hear that now I'm, you know, just blending a bit of fuzz on top of the overdrive, which is really cool because it keeps the definition of the strings there. If I turn it way up, now I'm going to get way into more fuzzed out territory. And at some point you'll kind of lose the attack of the, it's just kind of the nature of the sound. So you find your zone in there and what you want, and dial it in. Now, there's a lot of output in this pedal too, so you can really kick the front of the amp with it. On a fuzz face, you know, you might find sometimes you gotta crank the level to just get it almost to unity, and that ain't the case with this one. The tone control, to me, is really wide range, and it comes on pretty quick. I like it down about 9 o'clock, but I'll play with it right now for you. You can hear when I turn it up, it gets quite bright really quick. So I've just kind of got that magic spot around 9 o'clock that I dig. Fuzz control was on about half right there. Let's turn it up a little bit. So you can get into super, you know, almost like American Woman territory, I guess. You know, that type of thing. The other two controls here, main controls we've got, are a voice control and an impedance selector, and they will both affect the tone. The voice control to the greatest amount. Let's see what it does. Okay, obviously, I forgot you were there for a minute. I'm just playing with it and having some fun because it does this broken sound really, really well. It's kind of an interesting sound, right? And it gets very interactive with the other controls. But this number, I think it's number 3 on the voice switch, gets that kind of gated, sort of broken fuzz. It's pretty fun. As soon as you switch it up to the number 2, number 1 positions, any of those, it becomes, you know, a little more normal sound. Right? Now, the impedance selector, you can really notice it best actually when I roll the volume down a bit on the guitar, and you can hear how it affects how the pedal kind of cleans up. And it'll get a little fuller and a little gainier with the knob cranked all the way counterclockwise, or sorry, all the way clockwise. As I turn it down counterclockwise, it kind of cleans up a little bit and becomes more responsive to the volume control. Alright, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's damn cool, and I really like the sounds that I got on the track at the beginning of the video. I was able to dial it in such a way that it was just like easy to kind of like emote that solo and get it's psychedelic sounding to me, which is fun, you know, sometimes to play through. It's not the typical sound I use on solos and stuff, but when you get in the mode, add a little bit of delay and stuff, it can be really cool. Thanks for watching, you guys, my video on the 5-0 and the KGB Fuzz from the nice folks at Valco, handmade up in Canada, my homies up there in my homeland. If you want to think outside of the box, get something a little bit different, or maybe you want a fuzz that you can use both with your guitar and your bass, and also at line level with like keyboards and that kind of thing. This one's a great choice, and for an all-in-one preampy kind of box, got a great drive in it, and great trem, great sounding reverb as well. Check them out further at the link in the video description below, and you can click there, it'll take you to all the info about these fine pedals. And hey, please hit subscribe if you haven't hit the little bell beside the subscribe. You'll get an alert when I put out new videos. I am Pete Thorn. Take care. Over and out.